welcome to Two Madden's podcast. Today I have a friend, I have somebody I've known for 7 good years. And trust me, I'm going to love a talk. We have been having issue on this topic. So I'm a very optimistic person. I'm very optimistic day in, day out. And she says, oh, come on, you're too optimistic. I don't like this behavior of yours. It turns me off, blah, 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 blah. And she's too pessimistic too. She's always saying, Kojo, face reality, face reality. So we brought up this topic, the untapped advantage of being pessimistic. Today I want to understand this, my friend. I want to understand why she's so pessimistic in life. Hi, Tracy. What's up?
Hi, Kojo.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How was the journey?
It was crazy.
It was crazy, eh?
Yeah. You know, I called you and I was asking you a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
So you're going to tell, I want to understand your mind. I want to understand why you're so pessimistic in life.
Okay. Well, point of correction, I'm not, as pessimistic as you're making it sound.
Oh, come on. Come on.
People, like, I'm also the most optimistic person.
Hey,
the most optimistic person you would ever meet.
Since...
No, the truth is I'm a realist. I look at both sides. I look at the good and I look at the bad.
But yours, knowing you all these years, you're always looking at the bad side of things.
Because the good side is obvious. The good side is obvious. Other people are always looking at the good side. So I have to be the one to, I have to play the devil's advocate. Yeah.
So I want to understand your mind.
Okay, so understand my mind.
So let's start.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is pessimism?
Okay, so pessimism is basically a tendency, to see the worst aspects of things.
Is that cool? To
see the worst side of things, it's not cool, but it's something that we need to, entertain in our lives, because bad things happen. The rain falls, places get flooded, and people die all the time. So must we say, Circle is a safe place to walk? So if you're driving a Kia Picanto and it's raining and the whole place is flooded, just have fun, be playing shaggy music and dancing in your car and not care whether the floods are going to kill you or not. No, you can't say that, So you have to think about the fact that, okay, this is the rainy season in Accra. I take the circle route all the time. So during the rainy season, I'm not going to go in my Kia Picanto. I'm going to picturesque.
Right, but that's you have optimated your mind to be more negative about stuff.
Not negative, but the potential of these heavy rains carrying away your small Kia Picanto is higher than that rain,
Because I'm not going to die one day.
Of course, we're all going to die.
So why should I start thinking about how things are going to end up?
But do you want to die right now?
No, I don't want to die right now.
I mean, think of a guy who is a virgin, okay? And he has been spying this nice girl, curvy girl, for like ages. And he has planned everything in his mind. He has planned the 2-story house he's going to be living in with a chick and all that.
Yeah.
So you have to be like, oh, Charlie, you have to live for your wedding night. You cannot just say that you all die and so until then, Charlie.
I get you.
So that's where my optimism comes in. I'm very optimistic, but sometimes you have to look at the
other side too.
The other side, it exists.
So what is the history of or genesis of this word?
Okay, so per my knowledge, it developed around the 18th century. That word became it had been there before the 18th century, but it became very common, more used during that time. And then it has a Latin origin, as usual with a lot of the English words. It has a Latin origin, and it comes from the word pessimus. Yes, it comes from the word pessimus, which means west. The WORST, west. Just I say crap.
Terrible side of it.
The most terrible side of it. Okay. Yes, and so the word worst means that it's the opposite of what? Optimism. Best.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, true.
So yeah, that's the origin. The word.
Okay.
And it started getting more used around the 18th century.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think humans have truly comprehend the philosophy of pessimism?
Honestly, Kojo, I don't think people have, fully understood.
I haven't.
The untapped potential of being pessimistic. Why am I saying that? Because let's take you for instance.
Mm-hmm.
I've known you for like a gazillion years. Okay? Yeah. And you're always telling me how, we're always fighting about the fact that, a couple of days I told you I was angry at you because you're so optimistic. And then sometimes you're like, no, Tracy, you have to think about the positive sides of things.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. We in life, good things happen and then bad things what happen. You pass exams and you fail exams. I feel like if people were to, accept the reality of pessimism, there wouldn't be so much suicides going on, because people would expect, say, when you do something, it's either going to turn out good or it's going to turn out bad, and either way you have to what? You have to move. You have to keep moving. That's my philosophy. Like, good things happen, bad things happen, and so with that thought, I just keep what? Moving. Yeah, my life hasn't been easy. It's been very tough, but I've always kept moving. There were moments when I got depressed. There were moments when I got suicidal. Mm-hmm. But for some reason I kept moving. Yeah,
I get you.
Yes, so I feel like if we all came to understand the untapped potential, the advantage of being pessimistic, we would learn to, deal with issues more. And we wouldn't be seeing too much internet suicides where people think that they deserve everything. We've been made to feel special, like you are a special breed, you are a special kid, you deserve everything in life. Like, you can have it all. Mm-hmm. Of course you can have it all, but you can also not have it all. You can't have everything. You can't have 100%.
That basically life is not fair.
It's not fair.
Life cannot be fair.
We need to get a fucking understanding of that. That life is not fair.
Life is not fair.
I want to be born rich. I'm not.
To face it.
I want to fly in, private jets and go to Macau and all that, but it's not happening. Let me face it. I don't want to live in Ghana. Ghana sucks. But I live in Ghana. I need to, get
face
over it. Trust me, there was a time, a couple of years ago, I go back to Ghana and I was so effing depressed. I was depressed. Like, why would I come back to this godforsaken country where nobody cared about my situation? And living with a disability in Ghana is like tough. So when you go somewhere and life is so much easier for you as a disabled person, and you come back to Ghana, obviously you get depressed. Trust me, I've had friends who don't have disabilities and they go outside the country and they come back and they still get depressed. So how much more me? I was freaking getting depressed. Of course, I would still get depressed. People would just ask me a question, I would just get angry. Trust me.
They get on the nerves.
Yeah, like because I just saw it's like, crap, why would you even ask me a question? I'm in Ghana, don't ask me anything, like I don't want to be here. So you get it. So the untapped potential here is that I am back in Ghana where I don't want to be. Okay. Mm-hmm. The untapped potential was the moment I got outside the country, I started working out ways not to come back.
Okay.
I was trying to,
stay there.
Stay, not come back, But I also knew that it might not work.
And you come back again.
I might have to come back to this country. Sorry, not my country, to this country. So after working on everything, getting my documents intact and asking all the questions, trust me, the very day, I think a week after I got to wherever I was, I started my process. Like, I didn't want to go back. So I started. And at the end of the day, when it didn't work out, of course, when I came back, I was annoyed. But I didn't die. I didn't die of depression.
You're still here.
Oh my God. I didn't die of depression.
You died. You're still alive.
Because over there, I knew that this might not work.
Yeah.
And I had to come back to my dear old beloved Ghana. And I came back and I survived. So yeah, being, a pessimist is very good. It's very good. It has helped me a lot.
So my next question is, most of us grew up to always be optimistic about life because of the law of attraction. Mm-hmm. Do you think this philosophy has done much good to society?
I think the law of attraction is a beautiful thing. You know,
when
you think about all the good things that can happen to you, that can come to you, you actually start working towards them.
Yeah, true.
You know,
true.
Yes, someone wants to go to the university, become a doctor, and help people, and so they start, focusing. They start thinking about all the universities they want to go to. So even whilst the kid is in junior high school, they are thinking of, I want to get to University of Ghana Medical School, K University Medical School. They start working towards it. It's awesome. Now, I was telling my cousin that my nephews, they're getting older. One is in senior high school now. But before he got to senior high school, I kept telling her, he needs to take a trip to, at least the closest universities around to the main ones. KN University, UCC, Legon, UMAT, University of Mines and Technology. He needs to have a feel. He needs to have a feel of what university life looks like. He needs to have a picture of what he wants in his head. Once he sees the buildings and he gets to know it is so different, and he sees people walking with their books, sitting on lovers' benches, studying and talking and having fun, having that social attitude, he would want to get there.
True.
And so by hook or crook, he's going to learn. You don't need to force the person to sit behind a desk to learn, because already he has a picture in his mind. When we look at our public schools and all these private schools who go for excursions, sometimes you think it's because of the facilities they have. No, it is not. It's not all about the facilities. Sometimes it's because they take these kids on excursions.
Yeah, true.
To see places. They go to the universities, they go to the libraries, they go to the parks. They see people sitting and learning, and it carves this. It's something they see in movies, but having to see it in real life,
it helps.
It's on a different level.
True. True.
So yes, optimism is great.
That's helped society a lot.
It has helped, but then it has also, skewed our minds.
We will come to that part.
To a point.
We will come to that part. People have condemned the philosophy of pessimism because they think it leads to depression and mood of darkness. How can we re-engineer the idea and tap advantages from it? Because personally, I think it's true. I think when you are too pessimistic about stuff, you get depressed. Yes, because I've been there before.
Yes.
And sometimes I still fight it. Sometimes I feel like, I shouldn't be thinking of the worst side of things.
Yes, so sometimes you have to psych yourself to think good thoughts.
Yeah, be positive.
Be positive. I do that myself sometimes. I mean, all the time. Christ, all the time. But we need to also realize that, like I was saying earlier, life is a two-way street. You can't have middle ground. It's either good or bad. It's either up or down. It's either high or low. There's no middle ground. So once we realize that, we need to think about the fact that, okay, so now I'm in my final year, I'm going to write my exams, right? I've studied, but things can still go wrong. And so you prepare your mind towards the fact that you can fail. So as you prepare your mind towards the fact that you can fail, you try to find ways around it,
But it's too much work.
It's not too much work. Let's be realistic. Charlie, you go into the university where you write. Charlie, when you say, Charlie, people wait there, me see, I'm going to blow the paper. And it comes and then you don't even make a C. And you are wondering what happened. I've had a case like that, and then I went to see the lecturer, and she was talking crap. She was talking crap. I just knew that, because if I am writing a paper and I don't want to fail, I don't fail. Even mathematics, and mathematics is like my worst subject. If I don't want to fail, I don't fail. I remember we had a required course in the university, and I had to write maths, and I told myself that, I don't like maths. I'm not good at it. But if I'm not going to write it again, because the more I write this paper, the more the chances of me getting worse at it. So I'm going to write it once and not write it again. So I cry, and I have to get a D in that paper.
Yeah.
That is like a pass.
Yeah.
And I got my D.
You're fine.
You get it? So sometimes you have to condition our minds. You have to know the truth. Okay? Take me, for instance. I have a disability. If I am running a race with someone, with Usain Bolt, come on, I can be optimistic all I want. There's no freaking way I'm going to win that race. There's no freaking way I'm going to win that race unless I'm using a private jet.
So, what is being optimistic,
Sometimes,
it means you are living in denial.
Sometimes, sometimes.
But miracles do happen. There's a grey area between facing reality and...
Trust me, miracles do happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you have one CD and you feel like eating pizza, and that's one CD. You just have one CD.
Because Usain Bolt can fall along the way and you win.
Yes, unless Usain Bolt falls and he dies. But if he falls and he gets up, oh, Bema.
He might not be able to
have you seen me run? Oh, come on, there's no freaking way. But my point is that pessimism is not always thinking like I did
okay.
But you have to think about the fact that okay, maybe idea, but me to me ayare. Knowing that you can fall sick on the day of the exams, what do? There's no way you're going to leave your dorm room open for mosquitoes to be biting you. You go and buy quail, you go and buy mosquito spray, add mosquito net to it, just to make sure you don't get what? Malaria.
Yeah, true.
You get it?
I get you.
And there's no way you are going to go eat somewhere you don't know anything about, just so you can get to Ansto the next morning. Even with that, you need to get some gin in your stuff, so that if you get around Ansto and some bread, then you can take it to the examination hall, so that you cannot be,
Yeah, I get you.
So it's not about just thinking that, oh, my life is terrible, I'm never going to make it in life. No.
I'm facing reality.
I'm facing reality.
Can you briefly give us a situation that being pessimistic gave you the needed resource?
Every day of my life is a situation I can give you. When I wake up in the morning and I sit on my bed, I envision all the obstacles I face in my day as a PWD, a person with a disability.
Okay.
The fact that the roads in Ghana don't favor me, the fact that the drains are uncovered, the fact that people will put their wares, they will come and sell in the middle of the pavement during the day. And so when I am passing, I have to I have to be stepping over things. All those things I think about, and so I map my routes. I pick the less intrusive routes. I pick the less dangerous routes to school. There have been days when I was almost knocked down because drivers felt like they didn't think for a minute that there were disabled people in the country, and so they can't just drive anyhow.
Yeah,
I get it.
I get you.
So every day I have to think of these things, and I have to find ways around it. And so these days, when drivers, shout at me or honk and they try to hit me, I don't, use it against them. I just let it go. I just forget about it.
So saying this thing, it brought my mind to something.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a very optimistic person, as you know. So supposing, taking this philosophy, what you just said, mapping everything in your mind, looking at every bad thing that might happen in the day for you. Can I devise a strategy that, okay, before I embark on any project or I think of anything, I can map up all the wrong things which might happen.
And then you try to find ways to stop them. You get me?
I think that's beautiful.
And that is not, it's a form of pessimism called defensive pessimism.
Defensive pessimism.
Yes, so I'm a defensive pessimist. I'm not just, a pessimist.
Okay.
I would call myself a realist, but for those who would think, for your kind, who are very optimistic and you see me as a pessimist, I would define myself as a defensive pessimist. For me, when I'm going to write an exams, I think about the fact that, it can rain. It can rain as I'm walking to the examination hall. So let me start my journey early. Especially when it's in the rainy season. I can get there most of the time when I'm going to write an exams, I get there 2 hours before time. Because I think about that journey can take someone 5 minutes
to get there.
A regular person 5 minutes to get there. It would take Tracy 30 minutes to get there.
To get there, yeah, I get you.
Do you get it? When I get there, I need to rest because there's no way I'm going to write an exam not relaxed.
Yeah, true.
Shaking and all that, tired and panting. When we got here, I had to take some time to
relax and true.
Yes, so that's my life. And so I have to think of all the bad things
that might happen.
Yes, and it's called defensive pessimism, and it's not a bad thing. It's actually good because it helps you. So in your head, when people come around you, you're all these people could be thieves. So you hang your bag around you Charlie. like handcuff. Your bag is always around you. Like, you get it.
I love it. My mind is now coming to something that it really helps us to get over stuff.
It helps you to, most people tell me, I am insensitive. I don't care.
Which I think sometimes you are.
Yeah, I'm not insensitive. I just, I have to. I've had so many years. I've had like over 25 years to condition my mind to think that things don't always happen the way I want to. If things happen the way I wanted them to, I wouldn't have been born disabled. I would have been cured by now. My prayers would have saved me, Yeah, but it doesn't happen like that. So over the years, I've learned that bad things happen to people and that I should just get over it.
Get you.
Yeah.
Do you think that being optimistic these days is a room to be mediocre and overlook logic and common sense?
Yep, optimism has brought about some level of mediocrity, and people lack sense thereof because of that mediocrity and optimism.
Explain it.
Okay.
Can you explain further?
For example, most Ghanaians, or let me say a lot of Ghanaians think that Ghana is still Ghana. The Ghana it used to be some years back. That Ghana is still the gateway to Africa, and so we have constantly laid aside our sense of duty and responsibility, and we keep making mistakes upon mistakes. We keep aborting, and at the end of the day, at some point in our lives, we are going to become infertile. Because when a female keeps aborting, either she's going to lose her womb or something like that is going to happen. That's what Ghana has become. We take things for granted because we are too optimistic.
Like trying to get a cathedral for God.
Yes.
So God will bless us more.
As if building a cathedral for God will stop there. I don't really want to say that word, but people will say I'm insulting them. It's not an insult, but it's stupidity. Is the inability to use the knowledge that you have. You cannot be wise without implementing the knowledge that you have. And that's what we are doing. Building a cathedral for God will not change the fact that we have crappy leaders. We have crappy citizens who don't care about the country. And we are selfish. Someone can litter the city and tell you, this is not my father's house.
Yeah, true. True.
Someone can embezzle funds from your company and be like, but this is not my father's company. Hoo-ha! Is it my father's company?
True.
You get it?
It's heartbreaking because sometimes you hear stuff about corruption and people who are found guilty are even they're given other positions to hold.
You know what? I'll tell you something. That kind of mediocrity has led us to so many things, and we are killing our spirit little by little. We are destroying our generations that are coming up. They are becoming cheats because they see their parents cheating and they think it's okay.
True.
A teacher can decide that I'm not going to teach all the topics I have to teach within the term because I want the kids to come for extra classes. So I'm going to teach only 50% and insist that the kids enroll in my class, my private classes, so that they can finish the other 50%.
True.
What about that kid who does not have that money, that 100 cedis you are charging or 150 you are charging? You get it?
True.
So being optimistic, we are like, Ghana is part of the
God loves us
in Africa. God loves us. And then, when we compare ourselves to Togo cry, their roads are not tarred. They are now doing that. Togo cry, they used to borrow electricity from us. They used to, ECG used to give them electricity and a day. You should not be comparing yourselves to, in quotes, the low class people. If you want to be better, the motivational speakers and the successful people, Bill Gates and all the rest, Dangote, they will tell you, if you want to be the best, there's no frigging way you should compare yourself to the average people. You should look up to the successful people who have made it. And we are in Ghana, we are still comparing ourselves to Nigeria and Togo and Benin and anything.
True.
compare yourself to Malaysia. Compare yourself to this country that people have been going to right now.
Rwanda.
This Arab country that people have been
Dubai.
Compare yourself to those people. When you do, you realize that you are nothing. You are nobody. Your economy sucks. Your leadership sucks. Your ideologies suck. You lie all the time to your people, and your people, for some crazy reason, take their lives and then they vote for you, and after they still complain. So that's where our optimism has led us to.
True.
And we are not developing because we think we are better than Togo. And before we realize, Togo will come and then
bypass us.
Like
Rwanda.
Togo like something.
Like Rwanda is doing right now.
Usain Bolt, trust me.
With your race as an African, do you think being optimistic has undermined our ability to take up responsibilities?
Yeah, definitely. It has undermined our abilities to take up responsibilities, trust me. Even me, being the person I am, sometimes when I am being given responsibilities, I decide not to take it. Let me tell you why. Because I know that I'm going to meet people who are crazy optimists, and then they are going to let their optimism overshadow the reality of the situation, and they are going to mess up. Even in school, I had to work with, and I don't like working in groups because of such.
Okay.
You work with people, they are optimists, and so they go like, oh, you see Sharon there, she always goes to class, so definitely she can do the work, so they leave you to do the work. But what if Sharon went to class and she wasn't listening to the lecture?
Yeah.
What if I went to class and then that day,
for some reason,
I was not in the mood?
Yeah,
or
true.
Because you didn't come to class, you don't know that I also did not come to class. What happens then? You get it?
I get you.
Exactly. People are so optimistic. Parents are optimistic, like, oh, you know what? I'm going to leave everything to the teacher to teach my child. What if the teacher has bad social, connections? The person has negative vibes and all that, and they end up teaching your children the wrong thing. But because you were never involved in the educational process, you didn't care which homework they brought home. You're like, you are making money for them to go to the best school.
True.
At the end of the day, your kids will end up what? Worse. And you might not even know at the early stages to help them. So that's what is happening now, on an individual basis, on a societal basis. We have so become optimistic that we have somehow forgotten that bad things happen, and we keep letting.
Let me chip in this question.
Bad things happen.
Who caused, or what caused this situation, or who caused this situation?
Because
of a typical Ghanaian being optimistic. What brought up all this positive vibe with Africans, that we are all positive about stuff, but in a nutshell, we do opposite of the positive vibe we hold. Because
people don't usually want to hear about your problems. People don't want to hear about your problems. They don't want to hear you telling them, I have psychological issues, I am depressed.
Yeah.
I have, for example, when I got depressed, I didn't want to talk to anybody, trust me, in the beginning. I just wanted to be on my own and yada yada yada. And eventually when I had to go and see a therapist, I realized I had to talk about it. My first, initial meetings with my therapist, I wouldn't say anything. I'll just go and be sitting there, and I'm just angry at myself, and I'm angry at the man in front of me, and then, but with time I realized I had to talk. So I talked to the guy, and
it happened.
So sometimes it's about the fact that people don't want to hear our problems. They have their own problems.
So be positive. So
be positive.
Be positive.
Be positive. Pretend. We all have our problems. Why should you come and then top mine up with yours? So be positive.
So when it comes to religion and spirituality, can one please God and be pessimistic? Can you please God?
You know what? I mentioned something that was defensive pessimism.
Yeah.
That is thinking that bad things can happen and then trying to find ways to
overcome them.
Exactly. So when you are a Christian and you get a job in a good company, a wealth encrusted company, full of money, and you are being tempted to embezzle funds. being a Christian here, obviously you can't think that, oh, me, I'm a Christian, there's no way I will embezzle money. Come on, we are humans. You know, most people tell me, most people go like, oh, you Tracy, you cannot kill. And I go point blank and I say, trust me, if I am the one at the end of the gun, trust me, and I have a gun, I'm sure at that point I wouldn't want to die. And so I have to, that's why we have something called self-defense. Yeah. People wouldn't want to die. And so at the end of the day, you have to what?
Defend yourself.
You have to defend yourself. And that defense might end up being murder.
Yeah, true.
You have to kill someone too.
Yeah, true.
Exactly. So you can't say that you can't be a Christian and then not be pessimistic, okay? You can be a Christian and be pessimistic. That is where faith comes in. Yeah. Like right now that I am sitting here, there are days when I'm going to school and I am so tired. You know, days when sometimes you call me in the morning and I tell you, I'm so tired, I can't. Sometimes it takes me like 3 hours. I'm in bed from like 3 a.m. to like maybe 2 to 5 a.m. and I am only able to get up at 5. You know, I have to drag my feet to the washroom and get ready for work and all that. Sometimes I know I can't do this on my own, but I have faith that God, you need to, take me through. I go to school, and most of the time I don't have a class in the morning, so I take my time to, regroup myself till late mornings when my classes would begin. You get it? So sometimes being pessimistic is where faith comes in. When you say, this thing, your own logic cannot help you.
So God has to come.
God has to come in.
True. What are some books you can recommend to anyone who wants to know more about this philosophy?
Okay. So with this, I'm not going to recommend any books because I have not read any books on pessimism. I don't. It's not even a topic I want to read on. But I feel like there's so much. Trust me, there's so much on the internet people can learn about. Like this defensive mechanism, the defensive pessimism I talked about. People can go online and then
read about it.
If you want any philosophical books, just binge read anything you come across on philosophy.
Yeah, true.
Yes, on pessimism. True. Google pessimism, and then you have various authors you can read from. Yeah.
So your closing remark?
My closing remark.
I've learned a lot today.
Yeah, my closing remark is that pessimism isn't always bad. When you're a defensive pessimist, you look at the bad things that might happen, and you try to solve them. You're trying to find answers and solutions to them.
True.
But when you're a through and through pessimist, that is when you feel like nothing good can come out of anything.
True.
But even dead palm nut trees have mushrooms. They grow mushrooms. So yeah, of course, nothing. All is well that ends well. We have a good and a bad, and sometimes they have to mix up to form some kind of a salad.
True.
Yeah, and you have to find a way of digesting both of them. So
I also think that my closing remark is also that being optimistic doesn't elude the fact that you have to be a responsible person. Exactly. And you have to take up responsibility and do what is right. And we shouldn't live in the illusion that I'm positive about stuff, but we know that reality is the floods are going to happen every year. Yeah. People are going to get drowned. So
let's take these kinds of actions to, stop people from dying these unnecessary deaths.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've learned a lot today. So this is Tumanin Podcast, episode 11. We learned about the untapped advantage of being pessimistic. And I had Sharon Tracy Fanos.
The same thing. No, it's not the same. It's not the same.
Charlie, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
I see you following submission. I know you're wishing that you could let your head down and mirror my admission. So why you worrying about being the outcast? Don't you know to be yourself and never ask permission? My short